All right, in Acts chapter 17, we get a good cross-section of the way that Paul preached to different people. And we see how he shifts his message a little bit based on who he's talking to. They go to these cities, and initially they always go to the synagogue, but they quickly see that they're also converting Greeks as well as Jews. And we famously see at the end of Acts chapter 17 how when they arrive in Athens, they preach a message about this temple to the unknown God, and how Paul uses that cultural significance that they have a temple to an unknown God to explain this is the God you've been worshiping, even if you didn't understand it yet. And I actually have heard of ministries that this is what they do. They go into cultures and they stay there until they feel like they find a cultural key for how to share the gospel with that particular place. It's really an amazing idea, and I've heard amazing testimonies about the way they found really unique cultural keys that point to Jesus in every culture. And so this just points to the way that sharing the gospel can be really spirit-led. But there's really just one thing that I specifically wanted to talk about that I found really compelling and interesting, and it is in Acts chapter 17, verse 11. It says, "Now the Bereans were of more noble character than the Thessalonians, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true." I like that the Bereans are applauded for the fact that they examine the scripture to see, does it really point to Jesus? Are all of these prophecies really met in this one man? I think that sometimes the culture of the church is such that we think that having doubts or having things you have questions about is maybe weaker than someone who just believes from the start and never has a question and never has a doubt. But this shows that they really respected that these people, they received the news eagerly, but then they looked at the scripture every day to check and see if it was true. They had some doubts. They wanted to see for themselves, and there's great merit in that. And I think that that's just as true today, that there's great merit in digging in. There's great merit in wrestling with God. There's great merit in asking your questions and in researching and really going after the answers. I would love to raise my kids to not believe that just blind faith is somehow better than examined faith. Examining our faith is so important. Knowing why we believe what we believe, knowing that we have the right ideas historically, and with all of the information that we can have, it is not an asset to just believe without thinking. It's important to think about what we believe carefully. And I really like that particular verse showed that. Let me know what you really liked in Acts chapter 18 and share that in your comments below. And we will read Acts chapter 19 for tomorrow.